Alright, so what we have here is a Machina deck that I created. I call it Union because, I mean, there are a lot of Union monsters in this, and it really just focuses on keeping your cards safe for the second turn because we don't use a lot of traps in this. Now, I tried out a lot of Machina decks that I saw online, Machina gadgets, and I really didn't like the playing style because I wasn't really sure what I was doing. So I decided, you know what, let's just create my own deck. Let's just do what feels right, and this is what came out. And it's a 47 card deck, but to be honest, every card in this deck has a purpose. Every card in this deck, you know, it's really good. It's definitely really good if you're playing someone who mills your deck. So the cards you have in your hand and the cards you have in your graveyard can really help out. Alright, let's begin. So first of all, we have 3 Machina Gearframes. Great, fantastic searcher. You normal summon him, and then you can bring out Machina Fortress into your hand, or you could bring out Machina Force into your hand if you already have Machina Fortress, because if you don't want to give up 2 level 4s for Machina Fortress, you could bring him into your hand if you already have Machina Fortress, and you could just send Machina Force into the graveyard, special summon Machina Fortress. We have Machina Force only and only because of Machina Fortress. We don't use any Commander Conviction because, well, to be honest, in the games that you play now, the enemies you play now, the opponents you play now, they're going way too fast for you to be able to summon a soldier, a sniper, and Commander Conviction, and I believe there's one more, but to summon him, yes, he's a really good card, but to summon him, no, we don't want to deal with that. So we move on to Machina Soldier, 3 of him, because he's great to have in your hand. He's a great card to start out with, great card after a Dark Hole. If you have Machina Soldier and you have another Machina monster in your hand, such as great Machina Fortress, summon him, you could special summon another Machina Fortress, or even Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper is a great card. And we'll get on to that in a second. And then we're gonna have Machina Sniper. Machina Sniper, what it does, it makes sure that Peacekeeper doesn't get destroyed if you're not gonna use Peacekeeper's ability to attach him to Sniper or any other machine monster. But Peacekeeper, best thing is either you set him face down and let him get destroyed, or, you know, use him for one of your other machine types and making sure that they don't get destroyed. Alright, let's move on to Machina Fortress. Machina Fortress is like the boss character of this deck. It just pulls the deck together. It just makes sure that the deck is working, because all of these level 4 monsters, they're all here to support this guy, this big guy right here, because his effect is fantastic. He can summon himself from the graveyard, he can summon himself from the hand. Fantastic effect. When he's destroyed by your enemy, or you take the enemy with you, or you can take another card on their side of the field, a monster that is. So he's just like a really important card to have in this deck, just pulls the whole deck together. Then we have Machina Peacekeeper. Machina Peacekeeper really just makes sure that if he gets destroyed, you can add Machina Gearframe. Machina Gearframe, you can go to Machina Fortress. Or if you have Machina Fortress, like I said in the beginning, is in the graveyard, go for Machina Force. Machina Force to graveyard, Machina Fortress comes out. Fantastic. Machina Peacekeeper, we're gonna have 3 of him because he's a great Union monster. You could pull him out like that. The only bad side is because since we use Machina Armored Unit, when a machine type monster gets destroyed by battle, you cannot summon, with this deck, you can't summon another monster who's an earth type and lower than 500 attack points. You just can't. Machina Peacekeeper, it really doesn't work out with Machina Armored Unit. However, he's still a great card. Next, we move on to Machina. Let's do the monsters first. We'll get to the spells in a second. So Machina Head Cannon, X Head Cannon. Now we have this card. Basically, he's a great card to have. I'll tell you why in a second, because he's a great starting card. 1800 attack points, level 4. You know, if he's in the graveyard, you can level 4 with these, and these are Union monsters. These play out with Frontline Base. You can union summon this guy and then normal summon another level 4, bring out Daigusto. If he's in the graveyard, detach, special summon XYZ Cannon. Boom, there you go. You have 2 monsters with 1800 attack points. And then it's crazy because these are 15 and this is 15, and all of the monsters other than Sniper and Machina Gearframe are lower than 1800 that are level 4. So we want to make sure that we have 2 level high attack monsters on the field. So these union monsters just play out, and if you're capable of bringing out XYZ, you can ultimately do XYZ-Dragon Cannon or XY-Dragon Cannon or YZ Tank Dragon. These are great cards. These have great effects. And then Frontline, and then, you know, let's finish up with the monsters. We have Machina Force. Like I said, Machina Force isn't really doing much in this deck except for just supporting Machina Fortress, because we just want to give up 1 card. We don't want to give up 2 level monsters. I mean, keeping your hand like full of cards, you know, having at least 3 cards in your hand is really important. So we want to make sure that we call him from Gearframe, send him to the graveyard, special summon Machina Fortress. And then we have, and you know, now we move on to the spells. Let's move on to the spells. Let me just shift these guys over here. Alright, let's move on to the spell. We have Frontline Base. This is an extremely important card. You use it only when you really want to use it. If you don't use it that much with Gearframe, Machina Gearframe, because his effect only applies when it's normal summoned. So we want to make sure we stay away from summoning Gearframe, special summon Gearframe with Frontline Base. But you can always special summon Z Metal Tank, Y Dragon Head. So these are great cards for Frontline Base. You know, you always want to have it. So if they use, you know, you always want to have an extra one in your hand. So if they use Heavy Storm, or you even destroy your own field, you always have another Frontline Base. You could activate it. Rush Reckless is a great card to have, because if you set it face down and they're attacking and, you know, they're not expecting any trap, because most cards such as like Trap Jammer, you know, that 7 Tools of the Bandit can negate traps. And we want to use Rush Recklessly, so you know they can't use those cards, and then you equip it to your monster and you have 700 more attack points, and you know you could just destroy their monster and do them battle damage. So, and then we have 1 monster Reborn, you know, 1 Heavy Storm, and then we're just gonna move the traps over here. 1 Dark Hole, and then we have Forbidden Lance. Forbidden Lance, all we have it for is for making sure that your enemy, if they have more attack points than you, you want to drop it down. You want to drop it down to by 800. So most of these cards can match up to enemies if their attacks are dropped down by 800. And you know, if they have an equipped on them, Forbidden Lance, what it does, it also makes it that they're unaffected by other spells and traps. So even though you can't use any of the spells and traps that you're planning on using on them, if they have the equipped on them, the equipped will no longer work. That way their attack points drop even lower, and their attack goes through and they get destroyed, they take battle damage. So great card to have. And then we have 2 MSTs, because in this deck we really don't need MSTs, considering we have Malevolent Catastrophe, 2 of them, and then we have Heavy Storm. So we're not too worried about the Mystical Space Typhoon. Mystical Space Typhoon is really just a great card to have. Creature Swap. Creature Swap is a great card because while you have a Machina armored unit on your field, or you have any of these effects, you can use Creature Swap, send Machina Gearframe or Machina Peacekeeper, most likely Machina Peacekeeper, that have effects when they're sent to the graveyard. Swap it with your enemy's monster, and then you know that monster is yours permanently. And then you can destroy a Machina Peacekeeper, and since you summoned it, you get its effect, and you can still bring out Gearframe, Machina Gearframe into your hand, and then you know they have no monsters, you have their monster, they're left with nothing, and it's just a really good card. Enemy Controller, this is just to make sure that if your opponent has a really high level monster and their defense, a high attack monster, and their defense is quite low, you could always use this, and you could, you know, maybe it's almost like a negate attack for like 1 monster. So that's what it does. And then we have mind control. Same thing, same concept with like enemy controller, creature swap. We want to make sure that if they have high level monsters that we can't get over, we want to take them. We want to take them. We want to make a way for us to attack them directly. We want to make a way for us to, you know, just really take that monster and then use its effect, or use or like make an XYZ out of them. That's the best part, because they're not getting their monster back if you make an XYZ out of them. Bottomless trap hole, great card to have, great starting card. You know, you could banish them. However, you do destroy it first, so if they have an effect, if it gets destroyed, you know, and it says ban, it doesn't say banish your graveyard, their effect still activates, but it's okay because we're banishing it. So most of the time, you know, if you're it's just a really good card to have. Malevolent Catastrophe, this makes sure if this set down a bunch of face downs and you're really scared to what they are, you could always set this down. You could always have like spare cards like Machina Gearframe, or Machina Armored Unit, or Machina Frontline Base, and you could just Malevolent Catastrophe them as soon as they attack, and you just wipe out their field. And that's just great. Torrential Tribute, that's a great card to have if, you know, you have Machina Peacekeeper on the field and you already got Machina Gearframe out. So it's just really good card. And if you're so yeah, it's just a really good card to have, because they're gonna summon, they're pretty much gonna hoard their field to attack you, because you only have one face down. They're just like, oh, you know what, let's just go for it. They're gonna hoard, and then you could just use Torrential Tribute, wipe their whole field out. So it's just a really good card to have. Let's move on to the extra deck. Extra deck, XYZ-Dragon Cannon, XY-Dragon Cannon, and XYZ Tank Dragon. These cards are just for these guys right here. They're just like making sure that if you get the ability to do it, then do it. Daigusto Emerald, he's really made for X head cannon, because if you have two level 4s that don't have that much attack, you could just XYZ into the Daigusto 1800 attack points there, use this effect to bring out another 1800. So that really helps. GaGaGa Gunman, great card, because he comes out, he can destroy big enemies. He can even finish people off after, you know, they have 600 800 life points left after your attack, and they think they have another turn coming. No, they don't. You could just use your two level 4 monsters, XYZ, you put them in defense position, detach, and end the game right there. Gem Knight Pearl, just to have, you know, a high level attack monsters with 2 level 4s. And then we have Heroic Champion Excaliber, great card to have. Because it was reprinted recently, Excaliber 2 level 4 types, I have to remove this because I can't use Excaliber anymore, but yeah, but Excalibur Champion, great card to have, because his attack goes to 4000 and stays till 4000 until the end of their turn. And then we have number 50, Blackship of Corn, because this card, what it does is make sure that if they have a monster on their side of the field that's 2000 or 2100 attack, you could detach, destroy that monster, inflict 1000 damage to them. However, it can attack, but it's really good to get like other monsters that are powerful enough for you not to be able to stop, to get out of the way, like in the beginning. Maestroke, Symphony, Djinn, he's just a great card to have, because if you use Dark Hole, he's safe. If you use Torrential Tribute, he's safe. He's just a really good defense, but then we're gonna play with 1800s. This card deals with 1800 a lot. Attack, because, you know, we can't really go too much over 2500. I mean, yeah, we can't really go too much over 500. We can go up to 4000, but I'm not even sure. We can go to 2600. We can go to 15. We could like give it 25. Yeah, we are not really going over 2500 with this deck. However, it is a great deck to have playing against non-meta decks. And then we have number 39, Utopia. I don't really use him that much in this deck. However, he is a great card because it's 2 level 4 monsters. It's not that big of a deal. So he can he gets destroyed, so you don't take that much of damage. If I can like negate attacks from big level monsters, so I just bring them on the field. I negate attacks from big level monsters till I figure out what I'm doing. So yeah, so that's what I do with number 39. So that is it with the Machina Union deck. I hope you guys enjoy. Subscribe, thumbs up this video, really share with your friends, and I hope you guys like it. I'll leave other links, check out my other videos. So yeah, if you guys have any requests, just let me know. You could go up to my Twitter, basically Yu-Gi-Oh, and just let me know what you guys think. Alright, thank you.